What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Holocron podcast. I am your host, Didge. With me, as always, is my good buddy AJ. AJ, how you doing today?
What's up? What's up? Living my best life. I had to get off of Discord for a couple days. Thanksgiving was great.
That threw us for a loop. When I was asking everybody earlier, I was like, "Hey, when did AJ leave the Discord?"
Deleted my Discord for a little minute. Brought it back. Ate real good. Now I'm back to work.
Yeah, I mean, holiday weekends always seem to go way too fast. Sad that I'm gonna be back at work by the time this is out and live. Kind of, but it's all right. End of the year is coming up. I have the last 2 weeks of the year off, so it's gonna be great. Yeah, I'm gonna be able to catch up on a bunch of stuff by then. So that'll be nice. But in that time since our last episode, it seems like there's been a lot of Star Wars news, which is crazy because there's no shows that are coming out right now, and I think it's like sort of just off the flurry of the strike ending. Stuff is starting to just pick back up. But the biggest thing I wanted to talk about is Dave Filoni is now the new CCO, and I did the wrong one. The new CCO of the LucasFilm, or LucasFilm in general. So all Star Wars projects will be going creatively through him, where Kathleen Kennedy will obviously handle all sort of like the money aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Basically what we've been wishing for forever.
Pretty much, yep. So
go ahead.
Yeah, I love this news. I figured that everybody already knew this was coming for a while now, but for some reason they just put it off till now, which is fine. Yeah, it's definitely great news. Definitely great news for everybody, all Star Wars fans, with exceptions with a little negative few people, but definitely great news.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to always have the people who are negative about everything, but it's interesting because almost all of the stuff that people have said that they love about modern Star Wars, he's had his hand in. Like, obviously, The Mandalorian was very much Jon Favreau's baby, but he worked hand in hand with Jon Favreau into getting that done. Everyone loves Ahsoka. He had his hand. He is the father of Ahsoka, essentially. So it's he can tell a good story. You know that the universe at large is going to be in good hands with him. Even the things that were sort of left to the table on, like in the first season of Ahsoka, they laid the groundwork for just stuff that you want to see moving forward. So I'm really excited for the fact that he'll get the chance to basically push where Star Wars is going forward with it. Speaking of with that, I still want to talk about him being the creator. One of the things that came out of it, he was talking about a lot of the background of the first season of Ahsoka and how him and Ray Stevenson would go back and forth all the time about how Baylan wasn't really a villain. He's like anti-hero. And it was a really interesting story because you could tell that even though it was sort of his baby, he was allowing these actors to just embody the characters that they're playing. No idea seemed like it was a terrible idea to him. So that was something I'm really excited that's going to happen just for Star Wars in general moving forward. It's good. I think we're in good hands.
Yeah. For me specifically, I was actually talking about a friend about this specific news earlier during the week. And I was saying that I love this because now we get more a creative decision from a specific source instead of relying on multiple other sources to figure out the overall overarching story of Star Wars. Now it can be more organized,
right?
Because I love the newest trilogy, but I will even admit that it was very unorganized in terms of world building and just the overall story that was being told. So now that Dave Filoni is basically the man in charge of Star Wars right now, it's really good to know because he is great with world building and planning things all at one time, especially when you see him work on Rebels and Clone Wars. You can just see that he's a very focused individual, and at the same time, he'll let all his actors and all his workers have that creative freedom to give that story and that performance to what that character specifically needs. And that's something that I'm very excited to see more of within the future of Star Wars.
Yeah, I think it's the aspect of having, for lack of a better term, you're Kevin Feige over Star Wars. You know, you're James Gunn over Star Wars. These
Yeah.
people who are going to create the universe. And yes, you're going to allow the directors and showrunners, the people who are in charge of whatever particular project, to have some level of creativity and ownership on it. But just to be able to be that guiding hand to say, well, this is where we're going as a entire universe. This is what we're looking to accomplish. So it's really exciting. I'm curious to how long this has been sort of working in the background. Um, is this sort of like an announcement of, well, let's just get it out there in front of everyone? You've been doing the job for the past 3-4 years or whatever. Now let's make sure that the world knows. Or if this is a thing where it's sort of going to change moving forward, and now things are going to kind of go back to the drawing board, or he's going to start trying to shape the universe based off of the stuff that's already been announced and moving forward beyond that. One of the other things I wanted to talk about as our next topic, and it still stands right along with this, is we got more information about Daisy Ridley's Rey Skywalker movie. So I'm curious as to where that's going to land within his universe. Is it I don't think you can call it like a holdover, because it's not like it's a regime change or anything. This just seems like it's sort of a regime picking up now. But how is it tying into where his movie that's sort of wrapping up the Ahsoka, Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Skeleton Crew, right? Is it all in that? All of those storylines are kind of supposed to wrap up in his movie. I want to know, how does that tie into Rey's movie moving beyond that? Have you heard anything?
So this is just a hypothesis right here.
Sure. And then while you're doing that, I'll also pull up her comments.
Yeah. So for me, I think that the Dave Filoni being in a leadership role, creatively, was already been set in stone since, I would say, even before the last Star Wars Celebration. I'll even say probably during, like, a little bit after season 1 of Book of Boba Fett. I'll say between that time. Yes.
Okay.
So personally, I think that he's the one that's been planning everything that's been in the news since Star Wars Celebration. So all of the Rey Skywalker movie, the focus on the Acolyte, the focus on Dawn of the Jedi, High Republic, and all of that. I feel like that was his idea, and that's what they're moving forward with. Now, with the connection between the end of the, what do we call it? The Mandoverse, the end of the Mandoverse.
Yeah, honestly, I've been calling it the Filoni-verse. So yeah, the Mandoverse.
We can call it the Filoni-verse then. So the end of the Filoni-verse into the Rise of Skywalker, not the Rise of Skywalker, the
Force
Dawn of the
Awakens.
Jedi.
Oh, you're saying into just
movie.
No, I thought you were going timeline wise. Okay, that's my fault.
Well, let's go timeline wise. So we'll have the end of the Filoni-verse that will just set up into the new trilogy that we've got within the past 2 years. And then this movie will tie into what we've gotten already. So I think, like, everything is going to be connected. But at the same time, watching these series, I feel like Dave Filoni is trying to fix some things within the newest sequel / I don't know what to call the films right now.
The
But
current time, I guess, is the best
yeah,
way to put it.
the current time. We'll call it that. The current time. So that's what I think at least. So we will get a lot more like clarity and much more stuff that makes sense within the current timeline, and then we're going to move on into the what would you the Dawn of the Jedi era stuff, which is something that's never been touched on,
Right.
all the original concept, which is good. But at the same time, we're also going to get content for the Old Republic
Yep. The High
and
Republic.
the High Republic, which is very exciting for me.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see where they're gonna go putting on screen for the High Republic because they've been so entrenched with books, comics, and everything.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see what's going to translate onto the big screen or even just the TV. In regards to her movie, Daisy Ridley, obviously she doesn't have the script. It's being written by Stephen Knight, who wrote Peaky Blinders. You were just talking about that off air. Didn't know
Great
that.
show. Great
I've
show.
never seen it, so but I know a lot of people love it, and it's being directed by Charmaine Obaid Chinoy, and I might have butchered that name, but she did Miss Marvel, or they did Miss Marvel. Just so I enjoyed Miss Marvel a lot. But one thing that Daisy did say is that she knows sort of the storyline. They probably given her script notes, even though the script isn't fully done, just sort of like, okay, this is where we're going with the story. And she was saying that it's nothing that she expected and that we should all be excited. Now, I know that actors say that all the time about the scripts that they're giving, but I think considering in the manner at which she had originally left Star Wars,
yeah,
I'm holding this a little bit better because something had to draw to make her want to come back. And for some reason, I don't think it was just purely money. You know, she was doing, she had other jobs. And it's yes, I'm sure Disney checkbook probably goes a little larger than a lot of places, but the manner which she left, I don't think that she was like, well, money will bring me back no matter what. I think it was something that she had to really feel interested in and that she think people would love. So I'm kind of excited to see where it's going to go, mainly also because the more that we do the stuff that are Dawn of the Jedi, Old Republic, the stuff that we do that are moving beyond sort of the current era, just the further we get away from the Skywalker saga. I love the Skywalkers,
yes,
but there's a lot of universe. let's get in it. Let's get out of that. Just that 90-year span. I need that.
Yes, I agree with you. I also love everything that the Skywalker saga gave me, specifically Ahsoka, my all-time favorite character in Star Wars. But it's about time. It is about time. It's been over 2 decades, 3 decades. It's been a minute.
Forever.
It's been a minute.
And I mean, like I said, I don't think it's something that you have to fully get out. I know there's still the rumors of the Lando movie. We still got season 2 of Andor. We still got so much stuff that's already set that we know that's going to be in there, but that doesn't need to be our focus anymore. I think is what we're both trying to say.
One
other thing,
still get bits and pieces of it. It doesn't need to be like the main focus,
right? And I think one other thing that we know that is coming, at least at some point before this Filoni-verse movie ends, is a season 2 of Ahsoka. He started talking about early rumblings of it. It left off on a cliffhanger. We know it has to come back. I'm really excited for it to come back. It's sad because he also, in that same interview when he was talking about sort of the season 2, just sort of the early notes that he had, he did a lot of time talking about Ray Stevenson, who unfortunately passed away before Ahsoka season 1 could come out. He couldn't really reap the benefits of seeing how much his character resonated with fans. And he talked so much about how Ray Stevenson would talk about how Balin's not a villain. He's an anti-hero. He has so much more to his story. And Dave agreed. Yes, he does have so much more to his story. Obviously, we where we last saw him, his storyline was a cliffhanger, and he really talked about how much he wants to explore that part more. And
Mhm.
it kind of makes me super sad to know that we're gonna have to recast it. It's a necessary thing, just I guess story wise, but it is still really really sad.
Yeah, it this little bit reminds me of the Black Panther situation
Yeah,
where there was a lot of discourse between if they should recast Chadwick as T'Challa or whatever. Like I said, a lot of discourse between that. For me personally, I would like Balin to be recast. I don't think it's a disrespect to Ray's name or anything like that. It's just that the character is more important for the story than whoever's playing them, even though the actor or actress playing that specific character brings that specific character to life. Like, but other actors and actresses can do that.
right.
So for me, I don't think it's a disrespect to anybody. It's just we need these characters to make a great story for us. So for hopefully for me at least, the character will be recasted.
It sounded like everything that he was saying sort of in the interview, and this is all from his talk with Entertainment Weekly. I'm almost positive it is going to be recast, and
Mhm.
I will say I was firmly in the camp when Chadwick Boseman passed to be like, man, you kind of you shouldn't recast them. He brought that character to life in so many ways. And as time went on, before the movie came out, you my thoughts started turning on it because you're right. Like so much of what he brought to that character, and so much of what Ray Stevenson brought to Balin, um, they brought those characters to life. They made people care about those characters so much. It does almost feel like a disservice to just be like, well, this person passed, so we're throwing this character away.
Yeah.
um you almost want to honor their memory by pulling in the next person to be like, well, you live up to this. You're never going to be 100% that person because you're your own person,
Mhm.
but we know the reason why we chose you is we know that you're going to honor what they brought to that character, what that legacy is,
Mhm.
and make it your own to the point where you're still going to help us tell that story. So I do agree with you. I really hope they're going to recast, and it almost sounds like they do. They're going to. Obviously, there wasn't much on what an Ahsoka season 2 is going to be. He specifically said, he left a bunch of threads up in the air so that it can continue. Um, but he also realized that there has been no official announcement. And said, you know what? If at the end of the day, and that I can't do any more with it, at least I got Ezra home. So that's sort of how he left it. I will also note that this is before all of the stuff came out about him being head of creative. I feel like things
Mhm.
might change now. He might have said that, and then now that everyone knows that he's head of creative, it's like, all right, do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? So it's an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan, is what I'm trying to say. The tides are changing. Things are going to get fun from here.
For sure, for sure. Um, but back onto the topic of
Yeah, of Ahsoka.
Balin.
Oh, you want to? Okay,
There
you want to go
was
back to Bill? Okay,
yeah.
yes.
I want to go just for a second. I just want to remind people Gandalf was recasted, and
Was he?
I'm pretty. Was it Gandalf?
I didn't watch the Lord of the Rings. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh my! No, it wasn't Gandalf. It wasn't Gandalf.
I
Was
know
it Gandalf?
Dumbledore was recasted in Harry Potter.
Dumbledore was recasted. Yes. So yes, Dumbledore. Sorry, Dumbledore was recasted. Everybody didn't like that, but as soon as they saw him on in the movies or at home,
Hmm.
everybody loved their casting. So I'll just say keep an open mind if they do recast them. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, the story calls for it. You don't want to
Mhm.
leave where we left off with him. There's so much storyline that you need to still tell with him. You still need to figure out if he's gonna ever see Shin again. Like there's a lot to go there. So I think the story calls for it, and like I said before, it's a perfect way to call upon an actor's legacy to be like, you created this character that we loved so much that we had to continue.
Mhm.
We are obviously really sad that you won't be here to be the person to do it, but we're going to make sure that we have somebody who will do it in your name and do it right.
Yeah.
That's what you want. You don't want them to just sort of throw whatever.
Oh, for sure,
So,
for sure. Yeah.
I mean, the next thing I wanted to talk about, we also got word on Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie, and his big thing is that he wants to make sure he can capture the fun, capture the joy of the original Star Wars.
Mhm.
Not gonna lie, a little worried. Not gonna lie, I am a little worried. Taika Waititi, he's an interesting director. He's kind of 0 for 2 in his last two for me personally,
Oh,
but
okay. Okay.
when he's at his high, he can do some great. He can his high is high, but as we've seen from his last couple of movies, those lows can be very low. And when he has a little too much fun, that's when that low starts to get really bad. So I'm curious. I know you were not a huge fan of Love and Thunder. Let's go to. I don't know if you saw. I forgot the name of the soccer movie.
No, I haven't. I haven't
Okay,
seen
so we can use Love and Thunder to talk about this. I know you weren't a huge fan of that at all. How do you feel about these comments that he has about his upcoming Star Wars movie?
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay,
From the movies I've seen from him, he did create. I'm gonna say this point blank, period. The worst Marvel movie of all time, and Love and Thunder.
okay, I
But
won't disagree.
but he has also created one of the best Marvel movies with Thor Ragnarok.
Also fair.
I can't just displace his talent as a director just yet. But at the same time, this is Star Wars, and I don't want to take that. I just don't want to. I'm not sure if he wants to troll people like he did with Love and Thunder. Like I'm really not in the mood for that trolliness with Star Wars at this moment, especially
Sure.
since Star Wars is already on like thin ice as is. So it is a really a rough situation, but at the same time, I could have a little bit of confidence if he takes this seriously, at least the his Star Wars film seriously.
Right.
And what his comments tells me that he wants to bring the joy back into Star Wars, much like in the original trilogy. That does give me a little bit more confidence, but at the same time, I'm not sure that's what Star Wars calls for at this time. It depends on what his movie is, at least.
So that's
And
the other thing. Yeah,
yeah,
we don't know a lot about this movie. We have pretty much no information. I know he's notoriously been saying he's having trouble writing it, and maybe these comments are coming that in the vein of like, well, hey, I'm sort of getting my groove back with it.
mhm.
But I will say, like you said, he is a phenomenal director. It's the when he has too much fun, we get Love and Thunder. and
Yeah,
that and
yeah.
that's the thing. I think I sort of stuck on the I want to bring the joy. He said he wants us to bring something new and meaningful. So it's the how much fun are you really going to be having? Are you going to get deep into your bag, and are you going to get a little too deep into it? Are we going to get a little too much Taika in it?
Well,
But
remember he also directed that one episode of Mandalorian,
I
and
was just about to say that
I thought
he did
I
also
thought that
do
was
the
pretty,
finale. It was the season one finale.
yeah, and I
That
thought
was
that was
great.
pretty good.
That was great.
So
So you're not
if he
wrong.
keeps that same energy, because in that finale he gave us a lot of energy, a lot of joy, but at the same time, it was very dark and very like serious. If it
Right.
gives us that energy, then hell yeah, I'm excited for this. But at the same time, it's like he's Taika. He'll troll people just to do it. I'm like, okay, I can't be excited, but at the same time, I want to be excited. It's a tough situation right now.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's one of those things on we just don't know enough, and I think that's sort of what's causing the I won't say grief or anguish or anything because it's not like it's end of the world. Like you said, he does
Yeah.
phenomenal work. It's the like it's that fear of the unknown. Like the only thing we've ever gotten on this is that I think it was like 2020, maybe 2021,
Hmm.
that promotional art that we got because it was like from a Disney investors call. And it was even then, it wasn't really even anything. Let me see if I can find it quickly. It was like it was like a little diamond shape in space, and that's completely it. So it's at this point, I just want more. You did it's Next Go Wins was his soccer movie, by the way. It's over. It's out. You please let your next project be Star Wars then, because you already said he's not coming back for Thor 5, so
Thank God.
that's out of the way. I mean,
Thank
I
God.
wasn't going to be the one to say it. But I do want him to try his hand. The knowing meaningful, I think, is also the other part that gives you the hope, right?
Hmm.
You know, now you want to make sure that whatever you're making has a huge impact on the universe at large. So I'm excited for that, but I'm not gonna lie if and not say that the joy part of it didn't mean well. How much joy are we talking here? Are
Yeah,
we
I
talking
get
love and
that.
thunder joy? Because Ragnarok had a good amount of joy and
Yeah.
humor, I guess.
Yeah, but it wasn't like too much. Like,
Right. That's the thing.
yeah, it's a tough situation right now.
Here, let me pull up the art so that way you guys can see it. This is literally what we got. Don't know what any of this
That tells us
means.
nothing.
Tells
But
us
I like
nothing.
it. It tells us
This could
nothing.
have been this could have been just an artist being like, "Yo, I just wanted to draw some stuff in space."
Yeah.
But you know, who knows? There I know people were thinking that it might be tied to the past, but I think that was prior to the James Mangold project. This doesn't really, like you said, it means nothing. We could spend the next 20 minutes trying to theorize whatever this means, and we will probably be nowhere. So I think I'm just gonna leave it at this is what Taika's next Star Wars movie wants you to believe or wants you to see for the
That's if we
promotional
get
art.
it. That's if we get it.
You think there's still a chance that we don't get it
Yeah, he's still the what? What was the last news he got? They were still struggling on
on
what
writing
he's
it?
supposed to be writing. Yeah, if it's taken him this long, it's been what? Basically like 3 years.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, if it's taken him this long, then it'll probably be scrapped. But
I don't know because you got to figure there's still technically Rogue Squadron. Rogue Squadron, I think, is technically still in
no, that one's
development. Did it
canceled.
get scrapped?
That one's yeah, that one's scrapped.
I thought it was technically still in development. All right. Like I said, the Lando is somewhere.
The Lando movie was switched from a series to a movie.
Right.
That was the last news that we
But
got,
I
and
have,
that
but we don't
wasn't
know
that
where it's.
long.
Yeah, I
That
was saying we
wasn't
don't
that
know
long
where it's
ago
at in development. And what else is there out there? Obviously, James Mangold stuff.
though. Yeah, James Mangold that's still alive. We have the Dave Filoni that's still alive.
Feige's
Um
obviously got canceled. I don't
yeah, the
even
Feige one got scrapped. So we have two movies right no, three movies because
Sean Levy's. Where is his at?
we I think that one's been scrapped as well.
Okay.
So we only have three movies right now that's still in development.
Okay.
And then we have a couple of series that's in development.
Right.
So we still have a lot of content that's in development. And if this Taika movie doesn't go nowhere at this point, it's like, should we spend money on it to because it's still taking a minute for him to write the script. So
Fair. And I
it's either
mean,
scrap it or scrap it and move on, or just wait and waste more money.
and I think it kind of goes back to our leading thing of, well, now things are really going to change because you have your man at the helm who is like, let's create everything. Let's create this universe rather.
Hmm.
Um, for as much as we loved what Kathleen Kennedy has did, I think it was Jawan who was saying it. She's the sort of the money side of it. It wasn't create the creative side wasn't her wheelhouse.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was what was holding the universe back. And now we don't have to worry about that. We know that that part's handled. We know that she can make money. So I
Hmm.
think we don't have to worry about the success part of it either. Will it or will it not make money? It's just now marrying those two together so that way we can get the best of both worlds.
It was the creative decision. That was the whole issue of the current Star Wars as is right now, or with the movies at least. And then when Dave Filoni came in, I think that's where the creative differences would stop now, because now they have one specific person to help control the entirety of Star Wars. Of course, he will have help with his writers and his
Right.
story groups and stuff like that, but he will be the main controller of that, instead of having Kathleen Kennedy go to director and writer to writer to figure out what's going to happen in that specific storyline. That's what made it so very uh, just convoluted. It made it more convoluted than it had to be. But now that it seems like it's going to be more organized with Dave Filoni, I think that this is the point where we're going to have like less cancellations with Star Wars now, less creative differences with writers and directors now. So I think we're in a good spot. Um, of course, this is just theoretical, but now that we're in a good spot, I feel like now we're gonna
Yeah.
have great Marvel stuff, great Star Wars stuff, great DC stuff, and
It should be a good time to be a
yes,
nerd.
yes, basically.
So let's pivot before we get out of here. I think we've sort of talked about the movie TV show aspect of it. Let's pivot to video games. There's two big video game topics that I wanted to talk about. Um let's get the sad, maybe not as sad according to you, news out of the way and talk about this Knights of the Old Republic remake. We heard kind of two different reports. We heard one that it's dead in the water.
Yep.
Um, and then we heard the second story of, well, no, it's not dead. We got two people working on it.
Yep.
You took that as a positive. I still kind of take that as a
No, I didn't. I didn't take it as a
you
positive.
took that a positive, meaning that it's not dead.
Yeah, that is not dead. I still think
I
it's a negative.
I take it as a delaying the inevitable. This thing is about to die. It's like they're trying to bring it back, and it's kind of kind of dying.
I have a theory on it. I have
Okay,
a
let's hear it.
Okay. So when I first heard this, I was annoyed that there was only two people working on this. I'm like,
Fair.
why in the hell do you only have two people working on one of the biggest IPs that you have? But when I was researching, I saw that they have a game coming out fairly soon. I think within the next month, December, sometime in December, with Warhammer. So my theory is that they're still working on it until the release, and then after release, they're gonna have those workers come and join them in Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
Now, that might not happen. That's just pure speculation on my part. My thing is still, why two people on a remake that is this big? And remakes are doing a good job.
And that's where my fear
Yeah.
comes in.
Okay, go
Like
on.
you said, there's two people working on it. Embracer Group has already been talking about how much issues that they've been having just financially. They did layoffs. They did all of this stuff. It really sounds like they're trying to pick and choose what they can hang their hat on to see probably what's either the furthest along or just seems the most promising. Mm-hmm. And the reason why it was taken away from, I think it was Aspire Media at first, was they said that they weren't happy with the quality then. Mm-hmm. So it got taken from them because they weren't happy with the quality and given to just the larger Embracer Group. And now I kind of think they're just sort of like, this is your last chance. And because there's only two people, not to say anything about the quality of what they can do, it's just two people trying to develop this massive game. I think it seems like they're trying to slowly but surely take resources away from it so they can quietly cancel it.
I don't know. I feel like it's not that. I feel like that there was always two people working on this game.
That's crazy.
Yes. So for what I'm thinking is that they thought they were just going to like not recreate the game, but just like update the graphics on it is what I was thinking. So they wouldn't have to like build it from the ground up anymore. Even though I'm pretty sure that's what they said they were going to do, but I don't think that's what they were going to do. I feel like they just wanted to update the graphics. Now, I could be wrong on that, but right now it seemed like it was only like two people to begin with.
Right.
Because from my perspective, this should be one of the main focus for that group if they were having money issues to begin with, because this could have made them big bank once it released. So if this could have been like their main focus, regardless of all the money issues, I think that would have been like this specific IP would have helped them out a little bit to save them. But yeah.
And that's fair. So I'll read Jason Schreier's exact quote. It's just a tweet from him. It just says he can't say whether or not the Knights of the Old Republic remake will ever actually come out, but the two people from Saber Interactive, which is underneath the Embracer Group as a whole, tell him that they are still working on it despite recent rumors that nobody's working on the game. Like I said, Saber was the one who took over the project from Aspire last year, which was previously reported by Bloomberg. So, yes, maybe you're right in that development is happening at a snail's pace. But even in his thing, no one knows if this game's ever coming out. I think that's sort of the larger thing that to hold your hat on is this game is kind of hanging on by a thread. And you were right. They are still working on Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. 40,000 Space Marine 2.
Yeah, that's... I'm hoping that I'm right and they were just focused on that game for now. And then after that, that whole entire team will focus on Knights of the Old Republic.
Fair. I mean, one can only hope. As I said before, I'm very, very sad about that possibility. I did just buy the originals. They're on, I think it was on Steam for like $4 both. So did just recently do that. I'll just play those again. But I did want the remake. Like, look at this picture alone. This just looks really cool.
I hope that. Look, I hope that I'm wrong, and that they just wanted to update the graphics, and that was it. I really hope that I'm wrong on that. I hope that they do it like what they did with what was it, Dead Space, and Evil Dead, and just like did everything. They kept the blueprint, but did something completely different with it to make it more updated to the current generation and made it a lot better graphically, story wise, and like game mechanic wise. That's right. What I'm hoping that they're doing, that they want to do, and that's why my hope is that that entire team from Warhammer just goes straight to this, and they can get the ball moving, start getting us some news, so we can be excited again. But
that'd be nice. Because right now I feel like Kevin Garnett in Uncut Gems. Why would you show this to me if I can't have it?
Yeah,
Why are you showing
you
me
and me
this?
both. Like this news right now has been like slowly killing me. Just it's been canceled. Wait, no, it hasn't. I'm like, wait, what?
It's
Come
a
on,
roller
man.
coaster of emotions.
Yes.
So our last video game topic I want to get out there is a much happier note. I want to talk the latest information that we have on Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
It's up for most anticipated at the Video Game Awards. Whether or not you care about those or whatever, it's really good to just see developers get their just due and get their notoriety. But the bigger thing is recently, there's been a lot of questions on what is when is it going to come out? Ubisoft has only said 2024, fiscal year 2024. Well, their fiscal year for 2024 ends March. So their fiscal years go March to March.
Okay.
And they reaffirmed very recently that it is coming out this current fiscal year. Okay. So the latest rumblings on that has been they know for sure. They said, there's only a month left, so they're not going to do it 2023. We're looking at a February release.
Yeah. Ooh, exciting.
Very exciting. We're 12 days out from the Game Awards. I think it was pertinent to end with these two topics because Game Awards is big for announcements. This is the perfect time to announce, all right, here's that release date, especially because it's a most anticipated game nominee.
I know I'm anticipating it. I'm excited for this. Oof.
I think Ubisoft is supposed to have an announcement at the Video Game Awards. I'm going to double check that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I feel like all the major places are. So it's going to be one of those things, just be on the lookout for it. I'm definitely going to tweet it out as soon as I hear. I will probably spam Twitter with it. But was there anything else that I missed that you wanted to talk about today before we get out of here?
No, I think that was it.
Yeah, obviously we're still in a pretty big lull. There's not a show going on for us to talk about weekly or anything. So we're definitely just, as we get news, trying to get it back out, our comments on a timely fashion. But until next time, I've been Didge. That has been AJ. You have joined us on the Lost Holocron podcast, and we are out.
Peace.
Peace.